What's up, gamers? It's time for us to do some more Pokemon content here in 2026. And look no further than the fact that, of course, it's another Nuzlocke variation challenge. And I mean, we've done multiple Nuzlockes, both on stream and off stream. We've done even a GenLocke to completion, and I would say with some relative success. But now, it's time to undertake the big beast of them all. It's time to do a GameLocke challenge. Let's go. And this is going to be a thing. This is going to be big. So before we get underway with it, let's go over the rule set for this GameLocke, because of course all the actual rules will be in the description box down below like they always are. We are going to be playing our set standard of rules that we have always brought up on this channel, the ones that we've always followed on the channel and such. It's a harder version of a standard Nuzlocke, but not exactly so hard that it breaks the game exactly. So without further ado, let's just jump in really quick to the rules of this GameLocke. So the GameLocke variant of the Nuzlocke, and once again you can follow along with me over here or here. Camera's reversed, so I'm not sure which direction, but you guys pretty sure see the bigger screen than my face. The GameLocke variant of the Nuzlocke challenge. It's a super duper. Last time it was only a super Nuzlocke. Now it's a super duper Nuzlocke. Totally didn't steal that from Team 4-Star. In which multiple Nuzlocke runs, of course, are played sequentially using the surviving champions of one run, just like we did with our GenLocke, as the starter team in the next. Playing each game in release order before moving on to the next generation of games. Now, of course, the champions of each run may receive a reward for the next run, such as egg moves, IV stats, etc. And you guys know that from the, if you've seen my GenLocke challenge, you know exactly how the reward system exactly and the point system works. But it's just a little bit of a reward for keeping one Pokemon, you know, your ace, or, you know, some really good like team synergy and stuff like that that keeps on trekking through 3 or 4 Elite Four members. They deserve a little bonus, don't you think? You know, so they can get back up to snuff in the following ones. Because of course you don't exactly bring a Blastoise into Gen 4. No, you bring a Squirtle at level 5. So, you know, they deserve a little bit of a pick-me-up, as it were, for being such great champions, as it were, right? So then we move on from that, and the next set of rules, of course, is a surviving Pokemon from the championship team, which we just talked about, may receive a benefit at the start of the next run. The trainer gains 1 point to spend on one Pokemon by winning each run per game, beating the Elite Four. An additional bonus point, last time it was 2, but I felt that that was a little... When I was doing the GenLocke, I realized I know these games quite well, at the very least the first 3 generations quite well, and I didn't struggle near as much, and I was able to not abuse it necessarily, but it was easily... it made the game definitely a lot more easy, the challenge a lot more easy. Not that I wanted to lose necessarily, but you of course always want the challenge, hence the name, to be challenging. And in the GenLocke challenge, it was 2 points awarded for beating the Elite Four when you start the Elite Four. So not throughout the whole run, but when you start the Elite Four, if you do not lose a single Pokemon that you bring to the Elite Four, so you survive, you start with 6, you survive with 6, then you got 2 more points to spend on the next run. That's a little, at this point, in my opinion anyways, from my GenLocke experience, I thought that was a little much. So a maximum of 2 points awarded, 1 for, of course, completing the run, and then just 1 bonus one for doing it sort of flawlessly as the Elite Four run. I felt that that was okay, you know, and plus we're doing far more games, you know, with a GameLocke and stuff like that. So if you potentially succeed really good at Gen 2 games, for example, or Gen 1 games, or 4 games, or whatever, you're really going to make bank on the fact that you're playing all, you know, every single version of that generation. So this was not only set up just for me to play, but also if anybody wants to follow along doing this, I was trying to make the rules a little bit more challenging. So, and of course these points can be spent on egg moves, IV stats, etc., as was already explained. Moving on to the next set of rules, of course, is the duplicate clause. Now, the duplicate clause is normally used as a way of saying, okay, because of course, as we know, a standard rule of every Nuzlocke is first encounter. You encounter a Pokemon and you are eligible to catch it. And it's the first Pokemon you encounter on every new route, cave, etc. However, if you happen to, go to Route 1, you get a Pidgey, you catch it. Then you go to Route 2 and there's another Pidgey. You are allowed one re-roll, pretty much. A mulligan is basically what the duplicate clause is, what it allows. We are not utilizing that, but with a bit of a twist here. So, because it's a GameLocke, we're going to be getting multiple starters and multiple encounters. And we're going to be playing the same game multiple times. So, of course, there's going to be duplicates. Here's the fun part. You are going to catch them. You got to catch them all. Hence the tagline of Pokemon. However, this time, it's a little bit more fun with the duplicate clause. We're getting rid of it and saying, no, that's your encounter. And at first you're thinking, okay, that's not up to snuff. However, if a Pokemon dies, they are considered disqualified, not for just that game, but for the entire challenge. And they're unable to be obtained again for the rest of the run. Now, duplicates already obtained may still be used. So, for example, if you catch a Pidgey, you raise it up to, you don't even need to raise it, but let's just say you catch a Pidgey, using the Pidgey example once again, and you catch another Pidgey on Route 2, Pidgey 1 dies, you can take out Pidgey 2 out of the box and still use it because it's still during that run, right? However, if that Pidgey dies and you don't catch another Pidgey before that, then you're screwed, right? So, no Pidgey, no Pidgeot, and no Pidgeotto, pretty much, for the entirety of that run. However, we will get to that. Evolutions don't count, so it depends on the time of death, what evolution they were at. I'm not sure if I include this in the rules, but we're just going to stipulate that right now. If I catch an Abra and it dies, great, but I can't ever catch an Abra again. But if I encounter a Kadabra, and I never had a Kadabra, and Kadabra is not disqualified, I can certainly catch the Kadabra. Now, at first you might think this is unfair. However, a perfect example of this is during a Nuzlocke. If I were to get an Alakazam, and the Alakazam were to die, the Alakazam is now par for the course, gone for the rest of the run. And even if I do subsequently catch a Kadabra, somehow I obtained a Kadabra again, I can never evolve it to an Alakazam. I am stuck at the Kadabra stage. You see what I'm saying? So because Alakazam has now officially been disqualified. So going forward with this, I know it sounds a little confusing at first, but I think you guys get my idea going forward. It's just a little bit more fun because we have to repeat so many games in a row. It's not like I can jump from red to gold and then back to blue, silver, yellow, crystal, etc. You have to play so many games in a row, plus you're going to get so many repeat encounters. It's more fun to say, hey, this might not be the best encounter, but do you really want to, nah, I'm good, when knowing that the moment you give it up, it will never be available again if you lose it. So it lets you think a little more strategically around Nuzlocke fodder, Nuzlocke, stuff like that. So following up on that, let's go to the next slide of rules, is that this rule also applies to all Pokemon not on the champion or the winning team. So the 6 that you bring in are pretty much the only 6 that will be allowed to be carried over into the next game. Not just the next run or the next generation, the next game. Meaning that if you catch Pidgey, Rattata, Weedle, Caterpie, whatever, if you catch all them and you don't use them, that's great, and you box them, now they are considered disqualified for every other run for the rest of the game. So you end up losing. This will become a bit of a challenge, or I hope it will become a very difficult challenge later on if you happen to have a bad run with a gym leader, a trainer, the rival, or the Elite Four, and you're stuck back with only one Pokemon. A lot of the Pokemon won't be eligible to catch anymore because, of of course, you already previously caught them in other runs. So, continuing on with that, any Pokemon not brought to the Hall of Fame but currently obtained via the PC boxes will be disqualified as well for the remainder of the challenge. Not just the run or the generation, but the entire challenge. The one exception is to, of course, spend a reward point to bring back one disqualified Pokemon per point, assuming that you gain, 1 or 2 reward points at the end of the thing. You can obviously go back to a Pokedex and you can say, okay, Mankey died, but I really want to use Mankey, and I know there's a Mankey encounter that I'm likely to get, or a Pikachu, or what have you, right? And you decide to revive them, pretty much. You use the reward point as a revive. You are eligible to do that. However, the points can only be used this once during each generation. So, of course, like Gen 1, you have to play 4 games. In Gen 2, you have to play 3 games, etc., etc. You can only spend, no matter how many points you have docked up, which you can, of course, save your points, but you're only allowed to use this point to spend once. So, if you play Pokemon Green, and like we're about to start, and you lose, I don't know, Paris, and you really want Paris, or Geodude, or whatever, Zubat, and you really want to revive them for the next encounter, for the next game, you can do that for Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow. But the moment you do that, you cannot do it again, no matter what you lose in Blue, Red, and Yellow. You have to wait until the next gen, which would be, Gen 2, Gold, Silver, Crystal, to revive something, right? And you can revive anything in that context. So it's not limited just to the Kanto games, are limited to Kanto revivals. Same with, Johto to Johto revivals. You can revive whatever is disqualified across the entire Pokedex that you've previously encountered. You're good to go. But you can only do it 1 per generation. So it's very limiting, and we'll have to see, of course, how that goes. So those are all the rules. Of course, the actual Nuzlocke rules that we follow are, as I said, in the description box down below. These are all the rules specifically for the GameLocke itself. Plus, as a little caveat, we're going to be doing this as I'm going to call it the anime edition, where all the nicknames of all the Pokemon will follow a certain anime or theme picked at random on a wheel. Well, actually, the animes weren't picked at random, sorry. The names were picked. I set up a bunch of character names on a random wheel at the time, and I spun the, one of those generated wheels on the internet. I just spun it, with a bunch of names and thing, and then that was what we called each Pokemon going forward. Now, each game had a theme, some of my favorite anime sort of idea, and we went from there. Just so I didn't have to keep coming up with names and stuff like that, knowing that this was going to be a huge undertaking with so many different Pokemon games, right? So, anyways, that's the very long explanation on how this is going to go down. With that being said, let's finally just get underway and start with Pokemon GameLocke Challenge. Alright, let's do this. So, of course, we start off with Pokemon Green, a game that this is actually our first time ever actually playing Pokemon Green properly. Obviously, this has been translated into the English version for all subsequent purposes, but it is Pokemon Green as far as I was able to find. So, never played it before, of course. Now, it's got the different sprites and stuff like that, so quite interesting, that one, eh? But yeah, so green version. Now, I believe we're going to start off with a BLEACH. We're going to go BLEACH on this one. So, is the anime of choice. Now, once again, explaining that I did spin the wheel for this one. Text speed will set to fast, of course, battle animation is on, and the set as always, because standard for Nuzlocke is set, even though a lot of people say it's not a core rule, it's bloody a core rule. When Nuzlocke first came out, it was a bloody core rule. I remember that Wikipedia page, I'm just saying. I'm that old. I'm that old that I remember when set was a core rule of a Nuzlocke. Obviously, we're going to go new name here. We're going to call ourselves, well, maybe Dave. Nah, Dave is stupid. Let's go Griever. Let's go Griever, of course, because that's a great fucking name, right? Let's go Griever with that one, and yeah, let's get underway here. So we give a new name to our rival, which will be Oh, we're just gonna call him green. Oh, I see what we're doing there. Yeah, we call them the version that we're playing. So, okay, so green versus Griever. Let's go. Now, of course, we need to go and get ourselves a potion really quick, and then go get our first Pokemon. Yeah. So once again, we had to edit all the colorization and stuff to make it green version, as it were. Because for some reason everything is colorized, so I had to do a lot of color palette swapping. So if you notice some changes, it's just when I saved and reloaded and stuff, they wouldn't save any of my changes, so some of the colors might be off. But every version is colorized now, like almost like Pokemon Yellow or any GameCube, Game Boy Color game sort of idea, rather than the color swap palette that it used to be. So I had to edit all these myself, and they never would save for some reason. So as I said, if you notice, like, hey, the green changed when you into that room to that room, like it's a lighter green or whatever, or darker green, that was just because I tried to recreate it as best I could. Every time I, played for a couple hours and then would save, I'd have to redo it. So anyways, so we start off, our first one is Charmander, due to our, oh no, maybe it's not Charmander. We're going Squirtle. Okay, we're going Squirtle, so our ID number must have matched to Squirtle, because of course we're doing the Squirtle thing now. We're doing the ID number match, of course. 1 to 3 is Bulbasaur, 4 to 6 is Charmander, and 7 to 9 is Squirtle, and 0 is our choice. So we rolled our wheel, and it was Kenpachi. Okay, you know what? As a character, let's go. Squirtle the Kenpachi. Kenpachi, instead of Kenpachi Zaraki, we have Kenpachi Squirtle Squad. Let's go. I'm for it. I'm for it. Kenpachi as our first start to a GameLocke. Let's bloody go. Kenpachi Zaraki needs no Bankai, needs no evolution. Kenpachi Squirtle is on the case. Let's go. Okay, Kenpachi, let's do this. So, of course, this rival battle, we have to win it. I know a lot of people forgive this one if you do lose, but me personally, I'm like, literally, you can win this battle if you happen to lose for whatever reason, and it does happen, about 5% of the time or whatever. Sometimes you can lose it. If you do lose it, then just restart, man. You know what I mean? Like, unless you got a literal shiny starter, then restart the fucking game. Like, you lost, it sucks. Nuzlocke's over. Run number 2. Attempt number 2 as far as I'm concerned, right? So, it's like if you lose to... Anyway, to me, losing to the initial rival battle is still the end of the Nuzlocke. It's the first battle. Every battle counts, right? So, I've never understood that whole, oh, the rival battle doesn't count. Alright. So, Kenpachi grew to level 6. There we go. Kenpachi Squirtle. He's so cool. Alright. So, there we go. We start off with a win against our rival. Doing pretty good. And we start with Squirtle. As I said, all the starters are good. Unfortunately, Charmander is a little difficult. And we jump right into it. Pidgey is caught. Pidgey we named Tsubaki right out of the gate. And then Kakuna is also obtained, who we name Soifon. And then Rattata is caught, and we name Central 46. Yeah, I was very diligent on my wheel. I chose all of them. But 46 fainted! This is so sad. 46 fainted. Yeah, we're speed blitzing this, guys. We're trying to make this happen as quick as possible. You know what I mean? Like, because we've got to run through a lot of games, so we're only highlighting certain things. There's a catch, a catch, a catch. We're not going to showcase all the info. And once again, taking a grab off of other Nuzlocke YouTubers who recap, I noticed that a lot of them keep the audio basically off for the evolutions and the quick, like, jump, 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 like we just did. The catching and the evolving and stuff. So we are going to keep up with that trend, and we're only going to have the audio for the battles themselves, right? And I did have a few audio issues with, I think, this one and Pokemon Red, so apologies for that going forward. But this is our second rival battle up against Green. And Kenpachi's level 10. He's looking pretty strong and stuff. But yeah, the wheel gave us Tsubaki, Soifon, and Central 46. Interesting names there. But once again, I included as many characters on each wheel before I started the game as possible. And then that's what we ended up with. So we got a captain of the second division. We got one of Ichigo's best friends and a badass female who deserved more screen time. And we got the bureaucrats. So... And the bureaucrats died early. Go figure. That was not intentional. That was not intentional, by the way. But Tsubaki's here, getting leech seated. Tsubaki, she don't care. She's like, bitch, please. I can critical hit your ass. And there we go. Kenpachi is now a level 11, and Tsubaki is looking good. You know, hard to utilize the Pidgey line in the early generations, but I mean, depending on what else happens, you know, you never want to eliminate any potentials or possibilities. Plus, everything is viable and has its uses going forward. You know. Okay, so we're up against the Sandshrew. Soifon is up against the Sandshrew in damn. In obviously Brock's gym there, so we did lose Soifon quite early on there just to get ourselves. There was probably a reason or a strategy behind that one, because Beedrill is not something that I personally would have thrown away. So since it's me playing, I'm assuming that was my strategy to, for whatever reason, maybe Diglett was doing something and we needed to potion and we needed to switch or something. And we need full health for Brock. I'm going to assume that that's the reasoning, but... Anyway, so Soifon is gone. This is so sad. And then we jump in with Kenpachi against Geodude, now both at level 12, even matchup. Bubble is still, even at ×4, is not enough to kill Geodude outright, and maybe this is what I was worried about. And Kenpachi likely had taken a hit for whatever reason against Diglett or something like that. Hard to say exactly what the reasoning was. Obviously, Soifon was not being leveled up, but as I just explained, we definitely, that Onyx sprite is actually quite interesting. Normally the green ones are ugly, but I actually kind of like this one. I think it's really cool. And we go to level 14. But I definitely would have trained up Kakuna to become a Beedrill, 100%. Because I think Beedrill is an underrated Pokemon, and while not totally useful in Gen 1, the poison capability and the bug typing with Twin Needle is really underrated. And then Kenpachi is now going to no longer be Kenpachi Squirtle, but Kenpachi Wartortle. Kenpachi Wartortle, I'm for it. And we catch ourselves a Geodude that we named Chad. Let's go, Chad. Okay, so we have ourselves a Chad. And Tsubaki is evolving. So an interesting lineup here. We start off with Kenpachi. We got Tsubaki, Soifon, and 46 have both died. And then Chad, of course. And Chad being Geodude just kind of fits, not gonna lie. So, and then Sandshrew is caught. Sandshrew is named Ganju. Okay, so Ganju's in here, a member of the 5th family. Let's go. That actually works out. Okay, so a few of these worked out. While we face our rival. Tsubaki, Soifon, 46. None of those, really worked out. I guess Suzumi, Bachi, Kakuna, maybe a little bit with Soifon, but mostly, and Kenpachi doesn't really work that well. But Ganju and Chad kind of work, not gonna lie. So we're doing some switcheroos here to try to get some experience, I assume. Level 19, we trained out Chad. Oh, Chad looking chatty. Let's go. Are we gonna use Chad? Because I like Chad. I am all for it. Golem is one of my most underrated favorite Pokemon. I just think like, him and Rhydon are so cool, but their ×4 weakness is so exploited. But they're such cool designs. They look so strong and meaty and badass, you know? So I always want to use Rhydon and Golem. It's just difficult. But against Gen 1 Pidgeotto, we had nothing to fear. And against Abra, we have some teleporting shenanigans, but, you know, those sand attacks are really hurting us, however, so we're going to jump back into Tsubaki here, and we're going to quick attack. Alright, fair enough. I mean, we did end up, we shared the experience for that one. Abra's not going to give us like an insane amount. It's not like we need to farm anything exactly, so let's just get rid of the Abra before it becomes a Kadabra, of course. Still going to split the experience, and now we're up against Rattata. So, we do over half. It goes for the tackle. Normally, I thought they had Hyper Fang at this point, but whether they used it or not sure. I think they gain it by level 15. Bulbasaur is level 17, which is close to our level, so that's a little bit scary. The Leech Seed is more scary. That crit, you know, with a tackle, okay, not bad. But we did over half. The Vine Whip, of course, is going to be not very effective. We just got to keep our flying type in this game, and then we'll definitely succeed a little bit easier. And boom, there goes the Bulbasaur. So, okay, our team did pretty well. All right, and we've got some interesting characters going forward. Some interesting Pokemon. And once again, as a fun little caveat, I'm doing the graphics, switching them between the anime version of themselves and the actual Pokemon pictures as well. I thought that'd be a little fun here, down below, you know. And now we're catching a Metapod who will be named Mayuri. Oh, we got Mayuri Kuretsuchi for Metapod, becoming a beautiful Butterfree. Mayuri, I mean, Buggy, yes, I get but Butterfree. Like, I feel like Beedrill would have suited, a lot of Pokemon would have suited Mayuri a lot better. Now we're jumping straight into, of course, the gym challenge. As I said, we're just doing the highlights here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's up against Misty. Second gym, ready to go. Let's go. And it's Staryu up against Tsubaki, who has gained a level since. I assume we've been raising up since we just saw the evolution of Mayuri into Butterfree. I assume we were raising up not only Ganju, but Butterfree as well. Raising up Mayuri and Ganju. And yes, guys, I have a little list here. I have a little list of all the names, because otherwise I'd have to be like, I forget what we named this person, you know. And we gained a level right there to level 21. Cool. Brings out the level 21 Starmie. Alright, so we, I assume we're going to try to do something to this Starmie. Oh, alright, we're going for the accuracy loss. Not a bad idea. That might come in clutch. And, ooh, with that Bulbing, double sand attack probably will matter. So, oh, looking at cut. Oh, yeah, we definitely needed it. Alright, so we're going for the idea that we were hoping probably there for the Bubble Beam, because we only have tackle ourselves. So we're going Water Gun. It's going to do nothing. It's not very effective. So we're going to try the tackle. Tackle versus tackle here. Tackle does it almost less. Now we got to go for the Tail Whip. We've been taking a lot of damage, and we made a mistake there by going for the Water Gun initially. Should have immediately went for that. We're going for the double. Alright, so we went triple Tail Whip. So lowering that defense hard, which makes sense. But the fact is, we took a few tackles. We didn't get hit by a Bulbing. Now the tackle's doing some decent damage. But at this point, oof. And Starmie only seemingly missed once. We're definitely going to have to potion up, because we can't switch into guys like Ganju or Chad. So this is definitely an uphill battle, because most of our Pokemon are good ones. Ganju, Chad, and stuff, they're just Bulb Beam will kill them in one hit. They want to outspeed the Starmie. Starmie is actually very, very powerful. We have the resistance, of course, but we definitely needed those tail whips. Now we win here, but like that was we needed all those tail whips. Like we don't, because we don't have bite, we don't have body slam, we don't have anything strong, and we didn't have anybody neutral other than Tsubaki. So yeah, big win there, honestly. And now Ganju's gonna catch us a Meowth, who we name Gin Ichimaru. All right, I actually love Persian, so it'd be really cool if we get to use him. Doug Trio. Oh, we caught a Doug Trio. Aizen. Okay, that one fits. That one fits only because Aizen is overpowered as hell, and Doug Trio at the time is an overleveled, overpowered monster. Sand Slash. Ganju evolves into a Sand Slash. That's crazy. Gin being Meowth. I mean, alright, Persian as a Gin. I mean, I'm not against him being Ichimaru, you know. Once again, this is all based on the wheel, all the character names. It's just luck of the draw, right? That way it remains unbiased. So, Pidgeotto, boom. Our rival battle up against Chad at level 24. This battle didn't go so well for you last time, and it's not going to go for well for you this time. And now the Raticate comes in with the Hyper Fang, which can do basically nothing because we're Chad. I can never imagine Chad losing. And Chad will not lose. He will rock throw his way to victory. Oh, I thought we went self-destruct there. I was like, oh, can we get rid of that move? I'm fucking scared of misclicking. Like, seriously. And here we have Kadabra up against us. Now, of course, our special defense isn't great, but our one rock throw. Kadabra's defense is worse, and Chad grew to level 25, baby. Let's go. Now we're up against Ivysaur, and I'm like, all right, maybe we should switch. Maybe a little bit. So we go to Tsubaki, who, of course, you know, he's going to be able to quick attack, going to be able to gust. You know, Ivysaur is going to be able to tank quite a bit. But our Tsubaki has a high attack stat versus the defense of even an Ivysaur. So, even, you know, we're going to be okay. Plus, the grass resistance due to the flying type. I don't foresee us having much of an issue, though critical hit does definitely matter. But we're just about done here. And the Growl would have mattered earlier, but now, not so much. Boom, Ivysaur is down for the count. Let's go. Tsubaki. Let's go, Tsubaki. Let's do it. And Chad is officially evolving. But we stopped that evolution. Why we do that? I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, ladies and gentlemen. We could have a Graveler, or we could have an earthquaking fucking Geodude in a few more levels. So, we definitely staved off because we can get Earthquake. So, let's go Lieutenant Surge. Let's go. Up against Lieutenant Surge, we go. Voltor time, so third gym badge. Ganju coming in. Of course, let me guess, we gave him Dig? Let's see it. Let's see it. Yep, we gave him Dig. This is basically 1. Ganju is amazing. He's got the speed, he's got the power, and he's got the ground typing. He's going to have Stab Dig, which is 100 back then. We're just going to win. Yeah, at level 24, this is just a wash. Even the Raichu. The Raichu might be level like 27. Oh no, the Raichu is the same level as we are. But it's not going to matter. Nothing that Raichu could have done was going to kill us in one hit. And we are definitely going to kill it. Yeah, this was a wash. A lot of the time, the moment you get a good ground type into this battle, it's over. It's over. So Ganju, killing it here. Now, this is where we catch ourselves a Rattata, but we screw up there. And we should not have caught that, so we do not count that. The Zubat, however, is named Weasel. I believe that's one of the... Is that one of the Arcana? Something like that, Weasel. So Chad evolves into a Graveler, which is awesome. But really quick, gonna pause, and then we evolve him immediately into a Golem here. So we're gonna just pause that really quick. So... we do get Chad into a Golem. He's got 100 health at level 31. Look at that big bad boy. Chad being amazing. But, yeah, so, fact is, we caught ourselves a Rattata, but we shouldn't have. I messed up. I don't know why I included it in the editing. We never use this Rattata because, of course, he's dead. We can no longer, he's disqualified. At the time, I believe I was counting the idea that you were able to... oh, wait. No, the rules... Sorry. Let me double check that. Yeah, maybe I do allow that. Oh, right. So, yeah, no. We should not have ever caught... that Rattata. It shouldn't have happened. We did name it Tosin. Tosin was the name on the thing. We shouldn't have caught it. And we, as far as I know, we never used it. So it's all good. But yeah, we were never eligible to catch it. Only because the Rattata previously had already died. We were eligible to catch a Raticate, of course. But not a subsequent Rattata that had already died. Once they die... the line, not the line is dead, but that particular Pokemon is dead. So, anyways, hope that clears it up. I don't know why I included it. I screwed up. Sorry. Anyways, moving on. So, Chad, the Golem. Amazing. Look at this bad boy. He's got Earthquake. He's got Rock Throw. He's amazing. And now we go and face off against our rival in Lavender Tower. And now we go against Pidgeotto. This is the third time you have gone against Chad. And you know what the sad thing is? I've gotten stronger. And you've only gotten weaker, bitch. Because Golem is about to show you how this is done. Now against the Gyarados. You think I'd be scared of a Hydro Pump? I absolutely should have been scared of a Hydro Pump. That probably would have just about killed me. Even from a special attacking Gyarados. However... he shouldn't have had fucking Hydro Pump at level 22. I'm not allowed Hydro Pump at level 22. What the fuck? Then, so we Earthquake the Growlithe and stuff. But the reason I went for that Rock Throw, ladies and gentlemen, was because I don't believe in Gyarados having Hydro Pump and in the 20s. Because if I catch a Magikarp right fucking now and evolve a Gyarados, that thing is not having Hydro Pump. So... I'm just saying. So we're sweeping this team with Chad alone, but that was scary. That was scary that I didn't recognize. I didn't realize was happening. Then we're so bold. We just beat a Gyarados who tried to Hydro Pump us that we Earthquake the Ivysaur for a super effective hit because of the poison typing, and we still win. So Chad literally sweeps the team in revenge for that bullshit Hydro Pump Gyarados. I do not believe in Hydro Pump Gyarados. It should not exist outside of level 45. Or whatever fucking level Gyarados actually gets it. And then, boom, we got ourselves an Eevee. Alright. Eevee. We get an Eevee. And this is special, getting ourselves an Eevee. So, we actually get a banger name for our Eevee. We get Shunsui. One of my favorite captains, one of my favorite characters. I love Shunsui. I think Shunsui's great. So we get Shunsui Kyoraku, captain of the 8th Division. So let's go. We get Eevee is our Shinsui. What we evolve him into, at first I was hesitating, like, do we give him a Firestone, or what do we do? Because I love Flareon, I think Flareon's great. But we end up doing the fact that the electric type is so great, especially early on in Gen 1 and 2, we go with Jolteon. Then we get a Duo named Arañero, the 9th Espada, I want to say. Arañero is the 9th Espada. The one that was all crazy about Rukia and shit. So yeah, Doduo is named Arañero. And appropriate, I suppose. 2 and 2, like 2 heads in a jar, and then 2 heads in a. But I mean, once he evolves into Dodrio, I guess it doesn't make much sense. But anyways, so we're up here against Erica, and we start off with Ganju. Why? Are we crazy? Oh, we're doing the whole, we're going like we did, we're going the dig tactic. We're going, oh, hey, our ground type is going to beat your poison type, and your grass type can't keep up. That being said, obviously, as we just saw, Sleep Powder's a bitch. So, Tsubaki? Yeah, Tsubaki. So, but Victor Bell took a heavy hit. One hit will take, of course, Wrap. Thing we hate. And that Wrap is doing, wait, what? That Wrap is doing like 7 points a hit? 6, 1, 2. It's doing 8 points. Fuck you. And it outspeed us. Okay, so we will never escape the Wrap. Unless we use Quick Attack. Yeah, that's a trick to getting out of Wrap in Gen 1. You gotta use the Quick Attack. So now we're going for the Fly. We obviously gained Fly before fighting this one. So super effective hit to the Grass type. That's good. Against Tangela. We're a few levels higher, so this does, of course, come into play. But Tangela was never the problem. Alright, now we have Vileplume to deal with. Now, can we get a Fly in before she pedal dances all over the place? Oh, she went for the Sleep Powder. Okay, alright. Fly did... Oh, not quite half, though. I don't think that's half. Poison. Ooh. If this doesn't kill... With the poison plus the... Ooh. I know we're grass type. I mean, one quick attack could take care of it. One quick attack, and it's all over. Yeah, okay, we go for it. Alright. I was about to say, the switch is probably safe, but, you know, I'm just saying. So, Erica was defeated, that's 4 gym battles, and of course, we're going to fight the boss of Team Rocket and show off our skills. Let's go. Against Onyx with Kenpachi Wartortle. Let's go. Kenpachi Wartortle got this with Bubble Beam. We've already taught him Ice Beam. Look at this man. Look at this mad lad of Kenpachi. And Rhyhorn. Boom. You know what would have been a great name for this Wartortle instead? Would have been like Hitsugaya or something like that. I wish I had rolled like Hitsugaya. That would have been the perfect name for our ice water, you know, user. Or Rukia. Rukia would have been a good one. Kuchiki. Kuchiki would have been a good one. Okay, so we defeat the 2 rock types. Now we gotta deal with a level 29 Kangaskhan. So, Mother Kangaskhan is common punching us 5 times in a row by the looks of it. God damn. Now let's Bubble Beam harass. Let's go for an Ice Beam, see what that does. About the same, maybe a little less. I assume the Stab would do more, but maybe Ice Beam is actually stronger than... It is stronger than Bubble Beam, so that makes sense. So we go for the Ice Beam. Clear him out. Level 32 Kenpachi cannot be beat. Kenpachi Wartortle, let's go. So Giovanni was defeated. We showcased that. Our first battle out of 3 with Giovanni is done. Then we grab the Silph-Go. Now, Weepinbell is caught, and we name it Asane. So the lieutenant of the 4th division. Also, I screwed up when I said Tsubaki. Pidgey was, and we're getting an evolution here for Kenpachi. For some reason, I was thinking Tatsuki. It's Tsubaki. It's one of the flower guardian things on Orihime's head. So we also catch ourselves a Bellsprout and name it Rose. Rose is the name. And then we face off against Koga for our 5th gym battle. But yeah, so Bellsprout is now named Rose. Interesting. Captain, original captain or newer captain. Hard to say. Rose was 3rd division captain. But yeah, so I referred to Tsubaki as Tatsuki in the at the beginning, and just realized I was saying that wrong. So Tsubaki is, of course, the male flying attacking version of Orihime's full bringer shield or what have you. So yeah, I'm sure that the graphics will indicate that, but I'll, you know, when I go back to edit this, I'll put a "no, I'm fucking an idiot" or something across the screen or something. Obviously, back then, nobody had Levitate because there was no abilities back then. So Chad running in here at level 40 against Koga and earthquaking everything to death. Let's go, because even the level 43 Wheezing Toxic, bitch, please watch what my earthquake will do to you. I'm here for it. Yeah, one-shot his ass because Chad can't be beat. I cannot imagine Chad losing. There's a reason for it. Now we catch ourselves a Tentacool and we name it Loopy. Loopy was an Espada for all of 5 minutes and then died. And then we get ourselves a Vulpix, who gets the name Genryusai. Oh, that is beautiful. That is perfect. Vulpix, I guarantee you I use that. And then Aerodactyl is revived, named Ichibei. Okay. You know I trained up that Vulpix. You know a Vulpix named Yamamoto, named Genryusai, was fucking used. I don't give a shit. Yep, here we go. Evolution time, let's go. The wheel giveth and the wheel taketh away, but it gave hard here. A Ninetales named Genryusai. Let's fucking go, baby. I am here for it. Like, Aerodactyl named Ichibei, I'm for it too. Ichibei, 0 division, all the stuff, and Aerodactyl's awesome. I love Aerodactyl. I use them almost whenever I get a chance. But the fact that I caught a fire type, and not a Magmar, and not a Ponytail, but a fucking, like, it could have been a Growlithe or it could have been a Vulpix. But the fact that I got a Vulpix and I got Genryusai at the wheel, like, match made in heaven, baby. Let's go. And Shinsui's gonna just kick the shit out of this. Yeah. Shinsui Thunderbolt. Just Thunderbolt your way to victory, man. He's gonna outspeed everything. Shinsui's gonna be faster than anything our rival has, barring an Alakazam, and even then I still think he'll beat out an Alakazam. So yeah, wow. Like, what a goddamn. Nope, we're still faster than the Alakazam. Granted, we're 7 levels higher, 8 levels higher. And he immediately, you know what's funny? He knew he was going to get washed, so he immediately went for the recover. I'm like, nah, man. You're a dork, and I am here for it. I'm going to Thunder Wave your ass. He goes for the Psybeam, does decent damage, but we do get the confusion. So I'm like, fuck, I cannot sweep him this time. I gotta switch. So I switch into Blastoise, Kampachi Blastoise, who takes a Psybeam. I'm sure it's going to do 30-something damage. Oh, no. Oh, my God. That did way more than I thought. That did like 50 damage. So then we're going for it. This is when the emulator started to screw up, as you guys can tell. He took a lot of damage. So obviously I was giving that special defense idea. I thought Kampachi Blastoise had a better special defense. Obviously he doesn't, so then we go into, lo and behold, Ichibei, who we've raised up, obviously, to replace Tsubaki. And now we're just going to go for the physical attacks. We're going to dodge and do some physical damage. And boom, the critical hit. I think it mattered, but we do end up getting rid of the Alakazam. Probably the most dangerous thing on our rival's team. But of course, he pulls out a level 40 Venusaur. But we already have a flyer out here. We're good to go, man. We almost kill the Venusaur in one hit, being 2 levels lower. And then the Razor Leaf's going to do neutral damage, but it'll probably critical hit, which is very, very fucking scary. So we got to wing attack this guy to end it all off. But my god, that was actually a really dangerous rival battle. That one was scary. And yeah, I could have done things different there. But we certainly got lucky with that one. We certainly got lucky 100%. Alright, so that was the end of that. And then we jump into face off against Giovanni for the second time. Count them, 1, 2, and here we go. Shortly after our rival battle. I mean, we're always going to showcase going up against the boss. Let's be real. Even though the boss fights are generally very easy, you never know what's going to happen, right? So we're going to take Chad in here because I can't imagine Chad losing. And at this point, they basically have all rock and poison types Giovanni's got. So obviously we can Earthquake the Nidorino, get him out of the way. The only problem really is the Kangaskhan, which he still brings up. But even a Tail Whip with an Earthquake, I mean, the Tail Whip's a little dangerous if we had anything to worry about, like ×4. And we just barely, that might have been a high roll or a low roll, hard to say, but we strength away the Kangaskhan and then we're good to go. Now the Rhyhorn here, we obviously need to Earthquake. We're going to outspeed it because we're not only 5 levels higher, but we're also Golem. And Golem is the man. I don't know if Rhyhorn's supposed to be like speedier than Golem on a general basis, but I just feel like we're going to outspeed this guy. And we also outspeed a Nidoqueen that's only 1 level below us, so I feel like Golem's speed stat is supposed to be slightly higher than most other rock types. But yeah, we take out Giovanni without issue and we grow to level 43, so let's go. Explosion is something I don't think we want. Because that would, in a Nuzlocke, it's a bit of an issue. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie on that one. So now we're into the Karate Dojo, which once again, all gift Pokemon are, of course, available, as long as you only pick one. So it's either Lapras, Hitmonlee, or Hitmonchan, right? You only get to pick one, because it's still all considered Saffron City. So we go through the Fighting Gym, the unofficial 9th gym of the Kanto region. We're going to go with Ichibei. We're going to get rid of Hitmonlee here with a fly. Boom. And then we have to face ourselves off against Hitmonchan and do the same. And then I believe we get to pick our Hitmon. So that'd be pretty cool. And boom, we do win against the unofficial gym battle, and we end up picking, I believe this is based on a roll, like odd or even or something like that, and we end up going with Hitmonlee. So we take Hitmonlee, boom, cool, we give him a nickname, and I believe it's named Kurosaki. There we go, we finally got our main character into the mix. Of course, against the Psychic Gym, not usable, so I don't believe we bring Hitmonlee into the fold quite yet. So now it's Kadabra, level 38, even though we're higher leveled. A little scary, fighting all the trainers and such. Now, of course, a rule of my Nuzlocke is you have to defeat all the trainers. I believe it's in the rules down below, but you need to beat all the trainers and do so without leaving the gym before winning. So it's definitely a challenge when you do a gym. I just try to make the gyms matter. I try to make the gyms very difficult. So, like, if you really screw up against a trainer, if you get some bad accuracy rolls or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're down 3 Pokemon, pretty much, then you can't leave and run away to the Pokemon Center, right? So the Mr. Mime uses a barrier, which the defense greatly rose. So it's a bit of an issue because now, you know, going forward, we killed the Mr. Mime, we killed the Cadaver, there's still the Venomoth and the Alakazam. The Alakazam is really the problem. So we just keep thunderbolting our way and seeing what we can do. So here we get rid of the Venomoth without much problem, because for some reason he went for the Leech Life over the Psychic. Don't know why. Here comes in the Alakazam. We're at about half health. We're going to outspeed this thing, because we're a level higher, I'm going to assume. We get the paralysis on a Thunderbolt. That's amazing. Not only that, but we get it on the move we used it. So now this thing is down for the count. This thing is down. It's going to use Recover. It's realistically, is it going to matter? Maybe, because it was right down to the last legs. It's still not going to be enough to kill it, but we just need to take one Psybeam to finish it off. With the paralysis, we know we're always going to outspeed. The critical hit is incredibly scary, so we think about switching. And once again, in the same situation again. And I'm worried for some reason, knowing that the paralysis, and once again, it did its job. It did its job. There was no reason to switch there. There's no reason to be scared. But we were still scared. And so we opted out to move to Kenpachi, so we don't sweep Sabrina with Shinsui, but we just got we overthought it. We overthought it 100%. So now, immediately into that, we decided to go up against Blaine. So we got our 7th badge, and then we jump, our 6th badge. Now we're jumping right into our 7th badge, up against Blaine. So against Blaine, it's Growlithe. But of course, Kenpachi is level 45. I think we all just need to do one of these. So sit back, relax, because no Nuzlocke ever does anything different. You jump in to Blaine's gym on a Nuzlocke, fire red, leaf green, yellow, blue, red, doesn't matter. You jump in here, you jump in with a water type, and you hit the surf button. And nothing else is ever different from any run ever. I mean, you could switch it up, I guess. I could throw out Chad and use Earthquake. I could. I probably should have to make it a little more different. But how different would it have been? Earthquake still would have done the same amount of damage, killed the same amount of fire types. So you either jump in here with Surf or you jump in with Earthquake, and everybody has done the same thing for generations. Literally generations. Because I played this game in 96. So, yeah. Or was it 98 when it was released in North America? This one wasn't, of course, but blue, red, and yellow. Anyways, alright, here we go. Another Surf to two levels higher than us. And actually survives it. Go Arcanine. Arcanine's a boss. Either our special attack sucks, or that Arcanine's a boss. So good for goddamn him. That's all I'm saying. For some reason, we're taking a lot of time with this one. I don't know why. I don't know why we're waiting so long. In between, was I texting or something? I normally don't, like, I hate texting at work and stuff, like, done on break and stuff. Like, my regular phone is my work phone, so sometimes, like, I check if it's a phone call, but a text, you know. when I'm doing something, my phone stays in my pocket. So unless someone's calling me, I assume it's either work or somebody's dying, you know? So, now we go up for our 8th gym badge. So we just boom, boom, boom. So Sabrina, Blaine, now Giovanni. So nothing obviously happened much in between. Now we're just going to do the same thing. Kenpachi is going to clean up here. He cleared Blaine. Now Kenpachi Blastoise is going to clear Giovanni, probably. Duck Trio, Rhyhorn. I think the yellow version is a little better because they switched it up with Persian. And though at this point, if you're using a starter like I am, Persian's no real threat, but still, slash mechanics in this game, if you allow them to use them, You know, so Nidoqueen, gone. Nidoking, gone. I don't think the crit was really a thing. And we're just gaining levels like crazy, and then the Rhydon finally comes out. Now, once again, I love Rhydon. And level 50, stronger than anything we've seen thus far in the game. But at times 4 weakness, he's going down. He's just going down. And there goes that. We're as strong as the Arcanine we faced, but we beat a level 50 Rhydon. And Giovanni is defeated. Now it's time for our not final rival battle, but our second final rival battle. Second to last, as we say. Always very dangerous due to mostly the Alakazam. Gyarados can be dangerous. The Alakazam is a bit of a problem. And the starter, of course, is always a bit of an issue depending on how the AI wants to handle it. So we're obviously going to start off with Shunsui up against the Pidgeot here. Goes for the quick attack, does quite a bit of damage because, of course, that's physical over special. Now the Thunderbolt is 100% without the crit, going to take out the Pidgeot. Wasn't worried about that. Immediately, you know, because we have an electric type out here, going to jump into the Rhyhorn. Not a Rhydon quite yet, so we obviously have to jump into either, you know, Kenpachi or Chad or something like that. So we jump in here. Goes for the Horn Drill instead of the, you know, the Earthquake or the Dig. I'm not sure what this Rhyhorn has on the rival. Knowing that the level 20 odd Gyarados had Hydro Pump, I just assume all options are on the table, right? So we get rid of him. So it jumps into the Gyarados. Now we can switch back safely into the Shunsui because I know that even if he does, he won't go for the Hydro Pump. He does, for whatever stupid reason, misses, and now we kill him in one shot. But even if he did hit the Hydro Pump that he shouldn't have gone for, we weren't going to die from it. Because it's an attacker, he's not a special attacker. So now he jumps into the Growlithe. No, not an Arcanine quite yet. Thunderbolt should be close to killing him, if not outright, and it does. So boom, Shunsui's special attack is just off the charts. So now we're dealing with a level 50 Alakazam with level 45. So we Thunder Wave just to play it safe, right? Goes for the Reflect. We probably could have went for the Thunderbolt instead, but it is what it is. So now Thunderbolt's going to do quite a bit less, unfortunately. But we get the critical hit. Now whether Reflect stops critical hit damage versus the other one, I'm not sure. I don't know the calcs on Gen 1 as far as that goes. But I'm going to say that it doesn't. And boom, these multiple Thunderbolts. They still end up with the crit. I don't think the crit mattered on the second one, but it does take out the Alakazam, so we were worried for nothing. We go for the Thunder Wave on the Venusaur, who is 8 levels higher than us. So we're willing to take this Razor Leaf. Now once again, it might be not very effective, but it's still going to probably have a good critical hit ratio, and it does. We played that very scary. That was kind of scary. We played that a little close to the chest. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. We finally bring out Genryusai, who we know can do something here. Fine Whip, Pshaw, Flamethrower. That's where the money's at. And look, half the health. Boom. 2 Flamethrowers. This thing is down. A bulky starter Venusaur that is 10 levels above us We kill it in 2 hits. I'm here for it. Genryu Sai. Ryujin Jaka is ready to win. Let's go. I am 100% here for it. And so our rival says, yeah, no, we're good. Now, we catch ourselves a Ditto, who turned into an Aerodactyl, obviously. And we name it Kira, the 3rd lieutenant of, lieutenant of the 3rd Division. Now we're right into the Elite Four. Let's go. So, Elite Four time. And it's, we're facing off against Lorelei. Let's make magic happen here. So we're Dewgong and Shinsui. Let's go. Same thing as red and blue though. Like those mechanics don't change near as much. There's no real mechanical changes. It's just the sprites, some slight designs, that kind of idea. So we defeat Dewgong with a Thunderbolt pretty cleanly. Cloyster is always the weakest and goes down to whatever kills a Dewgong always kills a Cloyster. 100%. Slowbro is bulky as fuck on both ways, so he could survive, but he does not. Then it's always Jinx, and Jinx always survives, unless you're like level 100. So we go for the Pin Missile. Trying to switch it up, trying to go for the super effective hits, and we're thinking if we hit him 5 times it might make a difference. We only hit him twice, unfortunately, and he goes for the Thrash. So that's when we unleash the Thunderbolt, which is still not enough to kill, but he's thrashing about, or she is thrashing about, so there's no problem with the healing. However, we're now down to 78 HP. So we probably should have chosen not to, but once again, that's the problem with Pin Missile. Pin Missile is subjective to how good it is. Now, we never kill Lapras with Thunderbolt, but we hope they don't confuse Reyes, because now the obvious choice here is to switch. Right? We gotta switch. Even into, yeah, Kenpachi, that's a great choice because we get the water resistance, the ice resistance. Body Slam might do something, sure, but we're gonna be able to. I mean, I didn't realize I had given Kenpachi Earthquake, but Kenpachi Blastoise shows up, and boom, there we go. Just something that could block a hit and then deal the last damage. I'm surprised there was no full restore in use with that one. But here we go. And now we go Bruno of the Elite Four. Ho-ha! There we go. Alright, Bruno, show us your stuff. Alright, so we start off with Ichibei. Probably due to the flying type against the fighting. So we go for the Fire Blast. I don't think we intended to burn, but my god, considering he went with Rage, that's just kind of funny. So now, knowing that the Fire Blast did so much, we go for the Dragon Rage. It doesn't do quite enough to kill him, and the Rage does a little bit more damage, but knowing he's just locked in the Rage, we knew that the burn would just take him out, so why waste a Fire Blast? So now he jumps into Hitmonchan, so now here's where we go for the Fly. Now we're faster, even though we're 4 levels lower, but we miss the Fly. And then we take an Ice Punch, which does even Hitmonchan Gen 1. That's quite a bit, so we hit the Fly, which it kills him in 1 hit, but still, we took that Ice Punch and we shouldn't have. Like, how did Fly, I know Fly is 95, but it like never misses, so like, that was crazy to me. So the jump kick fell and crashed. Hitmonlee is a little more defensive, I believe, but it doesn't matter because boom, takes the hit. Brings out the next Onix, not of course the Machamps, which was what we were hoping for. So we go for the Fire Blast. We do the same strategy again. Rage does the same amount. We're not worried about it. We go for the Dragon Rage again, knowing that one more Dragon Rage will definitely kill him. He goes for the X Defend. So here's where we go for the Dragon Rage. He doesn't full restore. He doesn't heal up. So the Dragon Rage is giving us a little bit of easy money, as it were. So we go for the Fly on the Machamp, who is once again 7 levels higher. This is a little scary. The Fly does well over half though, so we know that one more Fly will take him out. As long as we don't miss this one, we are golden against the Machamp, who's a heavy hitter. Once again, if he hits, he destroys, but we do manage to get that hit. Ichibei sweeps Bruno without problem, with Dragon Rage and Fire Blast being the key factors there. Because any flyer can, any psychic type can do it, but doing it as a flyer against the double Onyx and not switching out, I mean, I'm just saying. So now we got to go up against Agatha and her Gengars, her ghost types. So we're going with Chad. Once again, Levitate doesn't exist. So here we go. We have almost 200 HP. We can take a Nightshade. Because we get an Earthquake, baby. And that Earthquake, that's going to hurt way more than that Nightshade did. Cheers. And your Supersonic miss, so boom, baby, a Rock Throw. You thought I only had Earthquake? Nah, no. And knowing that, I went for a Super Potion, So now I don't even need to bet on the Rock Throw anymore. I did enough damage. I can do a double strength and kill you off even with the Super Potion. Now you go for the Haunter. Of course I'm going to go for the Earthquake because once again, Levitate does not exist. Now, granted, that Nightshade gets a little scary. That's the only reason that it is scary, of course. 60 HP left. Only done by Nightshade bullshittery. But that Earthquake's going to take care of that Haunter. All I got to do is heal up with one Hyper Potion and we're back in business. So the Arbok shows up. Gets a bite in. Does basically nothing. I Earthquake the Arbok. Now, the question is, here's the question. Because we know this is going to kill. Kill. One more Gengar left. 51 HP. If it outspeeds me, kind of screwed. It probably will. So then we switch out to Kenpachi. Went for the Toxic. But we have another Earthquake on the team. That's why we went for Kenpachi. So we knew we could do it. Critical hit. Might have mattered. Might have mattered depending on Kenpachi's attack stat. I'm not sure. But Chad almost sweeped that team and could have, had we known they were going for the Toxic, we would have won that. I was scared of the Nightshade. I was scared of the potential Nightshade. Wasn't sure if the second Gengar had Nightshade. Probably did. Toxic, Dream Eater, Hypnosis, and Nightshade was likely the setup. So, but yeah, now we jump into Lance. So here comes a Lance, which once again can be easy, but especially in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, such a pain, a real pain, and can actually be difficult here if you're not prepared, and depending on how Lance reacts to things. So, like right there, Thunderbolted. All right, so he brings out the Dragonair. The Gyarados is always Thunderbolted, no problem. Goes to the Agility. Then goes for the Dragon Rage. But why the Agility? Dragon Rage is fine and all. But now we have Ice Beam. Which does not kill. So obviously our special is not that great because that's... At level 55, that should do something. Now we're worried a little bit here. Because we just did an Ice Beam. It's not ×4, but still. Kenpachi's slacking a little bit. Kenpachi Blastoise, what you doing? And now I need to heal up. In battle even. Yeah, hit it. Because you don't want to die, because if we lose our Ice Beam, we got an issue against that Dragonite. And the only reason this is working is because we just outsped him. And we got the frozen solid. Goes for the hyper potion. Yeah, we got lucky with that. That frozen solid actually matters. Like, we could have been in a... Well, I'm not saying we were going to lose. I'm saying that we were in a precarious situation and that people treat Lance like he's easy the moment you have Ice Beam. But what happens if you lose that Ice Beam? What if that Ice Beam, it doesn't do nearly as much and then you take a lot of heavy hits? What if your defense, your special defense isn't that great, you know? Having one guy with Ice Beam does not guarantee you a win. And even against this time for Dragonite, I'm a little weary. Like, look, I couldn't do it. I mean, I know I'm 7 levels below him, but that was ×4 hit. And I still didn't kill a Dragonite in one hit. You know, that was still scary. So it is what it is right there, right? And now Lance is defeated. So now we have to go up against, of course, the champion, who is our rival. And we'll have to see how well we do up against Green. But of course, we definitely need to heal up here. Kenpachi. And I don't think we do anything else, we just go for it. Or do we do some max ethers? Yeah, probably. Just to make sure that we have the right PP restored. Things like that. We double check some guys. And here we go. And it's time. Let's go. The only thing I'm worried about is that Alakazam, as I was telling you guys earlier. Like, the Alakazam is always the issue. And, yeah. So, you're gonna have to see how he plays him, what happens. Normally, I try to, like, Toxic him or Paralyze him or something because he's generally gonna outspeed us. Our special defense, we never usually have somebody bulky like a Slowbro or something like that. So, obviously, we have to start off with Shunsui and the Thunderbolt for obvious reasons. Get rid of the Pidgeot out of the way. He's going to pull out the Rhydon. He always does. So, level 54, we're doing alright. We're going to learn Thunder, but no, we're not. Thunderbolt is so much better than Thunder. In every situation. No matter. And he doesn't pull out the Rhydon. He stays. So, this is where I say, okay, I'm going to Thunder Wave him. Had I went with the Thunderbolt, I mean, his Reflect obviously immediately gains armor. So we go for the Pin Missile instead, thinking that, okay, well, he went with the Reflect, so what if I go for the Pin Missile, which is the physical attack, and do some damage? He goes for another Reflect for whatever reason. We go for the Thunderbolt, which does almost as much as 4 or just over what basically 5 Pin Missiles would have done. So what did I do? Like I got lucky, but it's crazy. Like, the Pin Missile did so much. I thought Reflect was gonna really damper Thunderbolt, but it didn't. So it is what it is. Because Barrier's the defensive one, Reflect's the special one. So I didn't understand that. I guess Shunsui is just built different. So now we have to think about who to face Rhydon with. At level 61, by the way. So we pull out Ichigo. We pull out Kurosaki. And he actually went for the Tail Whip. So we go high jump kick. Do some crazy amount of damage. He goes for the Leer. Another high jump kick will take him out. So let's go. Kurosaki for the win. First appearance right here. But let's go. Now Gyarados shows up. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's Gyarados going to do? Probably gonna Hyper Beam, is my thought. But he goes for the Hydro. He finally, after so many attempts, hits that Hydro Pump. And against Shunsui, my god, it does not nearly enough. That special, I guess, for whatever reason, I thought that I could tank whatever he was going to dish out. But I knew that the Thunderbolt retaliation would kill him, so why risk Kurosaki? So it makes sense. Now we're into our K9. So our K9 is out here. Let's move into Chad, because I cannot imagine Chad losing. And here we go, Earthquake time. Leer and a few different moves. Yeah, screw it. Arcanine, you can't do shit to me. Even though you're almost 10, you're 9 levels higher, it does not matter because Earthquake is our friend. Earthquake is definitely our friend. I think we could take on Venusaur, honestly. If we were willing to Earthquake right here, I guarantee you he would try for Solar Beam, not Razor Leaf. But let's see. So again, Ryusai. Switched in. He went for Growth. See, Earthquake probably would have done it. Earthquake might have done it. So we are into Genryusai. Flamethrower, of course. He's got high special defense. Our special attack is not nearly as good. Ninetales is more attack-based and special defense. But Flamethrower, here we go. One more. And of course, he's also 12 levels higher than we are. So I would be remiss if it didn't take 3 to take him down. But we take him down, and boom! There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have defeated Green, and Pokemon Green is in the bag. Let's go. We did really well with our Bleach run of Pokemon so far, I like to think. So there we go. Let's immortalize all the Pokemon, because they will be the next ones. I believe we do red next, not blue. We do green, red, blue, and then yellow. And then, of course, you know, that's the direction we are supposedly gonna take. But how long we go on this journey? Like, I think I wrote it all down. I thought, like, all right, what order are we gonna do it in? Because obviously the generations are clear, but like, what order of games are you gonna do? And yeah, so we're definitely, I believe we go red after this one, and assuming we succeed that, we go blue, and obviously all the special editions, so crystal, emerald, yellow, platinum, they would all happen after that. But that's assuming we even make it that far, because honestly, while I'm quite good and quite versed at Gen 1, once we get to Gen 2, it gets... Or even actually early Gen 1, because I still lose things, so... And you never know what could happen, you know, a wrong explosion, a bad self-destruct, a couple of misses, a hyper beam, you know, like, shit can happen. I think it's just easier going forward in Gen 1 when you've played it so many times. You sort of expect the unexpected, and there's very few surprises as early as Gen 1. But once you get into, obviously, the later gens, there's a lot more factors, and that's when it gets more scary. So, yeah. But anyways, there's all the Pokemon into the Hall of Fame. Pretty good team. You know, Ninetales, Aerodactyl, Blastoise, quite a few heavy hitters there, and look forward to playing them all in red. Now, I'm not sure exactly. I'm thinking that maybe we could combine like 2 versions into one video, depending on how long these videos run. Potentially, I could make like 2-hour videos instead of 1-hour videos per version, but we'll have to see. Depending on the run time, I might just stick it to each leg, but might combine. Depending on if some of them, assuming we get far enough, if some of them are less amount of time, maybe I'll combine 2 into 1 for some of them. But yeah, I feel like this introduction one, especially my first time playing green version, of course, even though it's a translated version, obviously, but my first time playing green with the different sprites and stuff, that was pretty exciting. That was a lot of fun. It's funny that they have the U.S. coordination, the U.S. staff in green when green never actually came out here. But yeah, to have all this here, to play green for the first time and then explain all the rules and stuff, obviously I'll go through them really quick for every video, but the initial 10-minute explanation part will only be in this initial video, and then going forward, we're just gonna, you know, So yeah. And with that, there we go. That's the end of the green version. Part of the GameLocke challenge. Hope you all enjoyed. Look forward to more. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys back here next time for more of the GameLocke challenge. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Have a good one, everyone. See ya.